wirklich richtig geil. Ich kann es mir immer noch nicht richtig fassen, aber ich kann es nicht richtig glauben, dass ich jetzt wirklich Weltmeister geworden bin.
The race was really, really difficult in the beginning. Obviously, the French drivers, one in front of you, one behind you in the end, but you managed to get past and get away. So were you expecting the competition to be so difficult, so schwierig?
Ja, es ist halt richtig schwierig. Am Anfang war ich Zweiter. Ich wusste nicht, auf einmal habe ich einen Zweiten überholt, ich wusste nicht, was mit ihm war. Und zum Schluss haben halt die hinter mir sozusagen aufgeholt. Und das habe ich mir schon gedacht, oh Scheiße, vielleicht kriegen die mich noch, aber dann zum Schluss haben sie mich doch nicht gekriegt.
Before the race, I was talking to you. You said that this is a fantastic event. You really enjoyed it. But the competition, all the different nations, all the different countries and lands, is it a fantastic experience for you as a young driver, a young Fahrer?
Es ist richtig fantastisch, dass ich jetzt hier, es war richtig fantastisch, dass halt hier beim Weltfinale sind halt alle von der ganzen Welt da. Ja.
Did you think before you came to Brazil that you would be taking home the #1 trophy, the Siegerung?
Ja, also ich hatte jetzt nicht mitgerechnet, da ich jetzt wirklich Erster werde. Ich hatte mit Top 5 gerechnet, aber ja.
So we're going to see you at the podium and all your friends and all your family at home can watch a little bit later at the prize giving. Is there anyone you'd like to say thank you, Danke?
Thank you, Oma und Opa, und meinem Teamchef, meinem Coach, meiner Mama, meinem Papa, halt allen aus meiner Familie.
Is your father your mechanic?
Mein Vater ist mein Mechaniker, ja.
Yes. So he did a good. Congratulations, Farid. Your family were screaming out and your teammates at the fence, so you can now go say hi and a big hug from everyone. Congratulations.
Bye.
Thank you. Congratulations. Well done.
And the youngest drivers, Micro and Mini Max, well, they have finished their part of the grand finals. Now we move on to the juniors, the seniors, the masters and the DD2 race. 72 drivers in each class entered those classes and 36 have made it this far. And as I have been joined in the contracts the last couple of days, momentarily, by DD2 Masters driver Tiff Chittenden, who is working this year part of the Rotax media team. The junior class is up next. 36 drivers. Again, the roll of honour in this class over the years. We've had drivers like Bruno Serra, Adam Christodoulou, Earl Bamber from New Zealand, your new home, Tiff. He's been on the podium here. Jack Hawksworth, Indy 500 driver. Ukyo Sasahara, who's gone on for a fantastic career. Matt Parry, who races for sports cars, the only Welshman, I might add, to score a podium. No, James Singleton as well, too, who's from North Wales. We don't count them. Matt Parry's from Cardiff. He's a good lad, he is. He's been on the podium. Joe Mawson from Australia. This class is a real proving ground, but not just for going on to further your career in karting, but for staying in the Rotax family, expecting a very, very good race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't get much closer than, I think actually the two guys on the front row scored exactly the same points. So they actually, pole position was decided by the fastest lap time in their pre-final. So you can't get much closer than that.
No, and you can't. I mean, it just shows that the parity of the equipment as well, the lap times have been really, really critical. In those two races, we have seen a breakaway at the first two drivers have broken away there. And it is a tricky track to kind of really, there's only one opportunity to really slipstream, and that's down the main straight, isn't there? So the drivers in third and fourth place, they've got to be careful on the opening lap not to get too excited, because the leader can just go.
Exactly, it's very flowing. I mean, even the straight is still pretty long, but it's not long in terms of some of the grand finals we've had. Yeah, it's not that long at all. So yeah, you're completely right. The best thing that can happen for the leader is the rest of the pack to fight behind them and then to get a clear gap. And just the nature of it flowing, there's no real hard break in hairpins, which is normally where you'd catch most of your time if you were trying to catch someone.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen some pretty spectacular racing so far. There's the view down in the service area, the Minimax drivers coming in. Now, you've got the two different sets of emotions. You've got at the top end of your screen the Junior Max drivers going out, and you know what that feels like at the start of the final. And then you've got at the bottom end of the screen, you've got the Mini Max drivers coming in, and those carts there's not the winning carts. They've been moved to one side. So, end of the day, dejection, disappointment, telling the tales of how your race unfolds at the bottom of the screen. What are you feeling at the top of the screen about to go out? You've done these finals before.
Yeah, a lot of it will just be still preparing. So you'll just be thinking about what you're drinking. You'll be thinking about tactics, but you've had 24 hours almost to think of that. So you don't want to think about it too much. You're just trying to stay calm. Like we were saying yesterday, a lot of the quick drivers are actually really calm, collected. They don't look like they're thinking about a lot, to be fair. But yeah, and just trying to keep cool. It's almost impossible, especially the way we do it. It's a good spectacle being out on the grid, but you are out there for a while. So yeah, and I guess these guys will be trying to keep as close to their umbrella girls as they can.
Yeah, and not for the reasons that most junior Rotax drivers would try and keep close to the umbrella girl. It's a serious thing in this heat. We're seeing some of the carts coming out onto the grid now. Jenny, are you anywhere near any of the pilotes? Well, maybe not just yet as we watch the drivers come down. So while we wait for Jen Wade to find a driver or even a mechanic to speak to, we'll have a look at some of the contenders. We'll run down the grid a little bit later on, but I mean, we've got Robert de Haan from the Netherlands and Jaden Pope from Australia. Jaden Pope on the outside of row number 1. Not a grid slot that has been particularly kind to many drivers so far this year.
No, not at all. We've seen a couple, I think they're getting used to, especially at the beginning of the race, and they drop back. Fourth is almost a good position to drop back to. So Jaden Pope will be thinking about that, though. It is his job, if you liked, not to be in front of the pole guy, so he's got an added thing to think about there. So the pole guy's just got to make sure he accelerates in the right place, and that is quite a big job for the two front guys. They've got, as well as the racing, they have to think about you do not want a start penalty because your grand finals is over. So yeah, those two guys have got a job to do at the start, and then they have to get into the racing as well. But Jaden, I know he was really gutted about the him not having pole. I guess you would feel that as a driver, you've won everything, you've done the most you possibly can, and then you're still on the outside. So he has to get over that and just prove that he can win it.
Well, that is, yeah, and then we'll go back to Jaden Pope in a minute because the story about Jaden Pope from last year. But Jenny Wade is down with one of the front runners. I think Jenny Wade has got Mads Rees with her.
No, I've got Mike van Vugt, the European champion, Dutch champion and BNL champion. How hot is it, Mike?
10 out of 10.
It's 10 hot. Here we are, Mike. Now, I know that you want to add this one title to your list of titles. In today's racing, we've seen a few upsets, and anyone still has a chance right to the checkered flag. How are you feeling?
I'm confident because, I know my mother says always believe in yourself and then it's always going to be all right.
Believe in yourself and it's going to be all right. You're on the grid really with some of the best young drivers I think we have in Junior Max, some of the best. Not everybody's here, but a lot of them are here this weekend. So, you're feeling confident. What about this circuit in Brazil?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a long straight and technical things, so yeah, it's good.
And the straight actually goes down the hill to turn 1, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster.
Okay, I know we're going to have some fantastic racing. We're going to let you go, and so you can focus and believe in yourself. So congratulations for being here, Mike. I know you'll be pushing hard, but take care, take it easy, guys and girls. It's a long way. So we want everyone there at the end.
Thanks.
Mike, apology for calling you Danish, but there we go. He'll be starting on the inside of the 4th row of the grid. So we're still missing one of the drivers on the inside of the 3rd. There's the kart of Mads Rees coming into the picture now. Normally you'd expect the drivers to come out in order, but I think because they're being held They're not being held on the dummy grid, which is, you know, open to the elements. They're being held in the park, the service park area, for understandable reasons, as Tiff Chittenden has pointed out. It's a long time to be out in the sun. So, Jenny Wade, have we got anyone else to speak to before we get underway? There's Jaden Pope focusing, but is Jen there?
Well, who have I got to speak to? I'm looking for contenders. They're all running away. Oh, I know who I'll speak to.
There's a rather fine-looking Mexican there in his Mexican shirt. Hello.
But constant speed, okay? Don't go fast. You're in command. Don't go fast. You're in command. You're in charge. It's on your own, okay? So let's make a fantastic start at the first time. Okay? Good luck. Have a nice, fantastic race.
The race director got my attention, having a little chat with our pole sitter Robert DeHaan.
Wednesday, briefing the drivers before each of their start, the first heat race, but this is, you know, before the final. He's just having a quiet word with the two drivers, explaining what he wants. That's fantastic. So, the grid is as follows. Pole position, driver number 218, Robert DeHaan, second as a Micromax in 2016, fifth as a Minimax last year. Jaden Pope, the Australian champion, this is his second Grand Finals in Kart 208. Noel Leon, best Mexican driver of all here this year, this is his third Grand Finals, and Lewis Gilbert, second in the BNL. He won the Golden Trophy at Belgium a couple of weeks ago. He is the only Scotsman here this year. Mads Rees in Kart 232. He finished 23rd in this race a year ago. And on the outside of row 3 in Kart 22, Thomas Niveau from Oka in Quebec. He was second as a Minimax in 2016. In the fourth row, we just spoke with him, the European champion Mike van Voogd in Kart 220, and second Australian in the top 4 rows, William Seal in Kart 210. He was second in this year's Aussie Pro Tour. Row number 5, Victor Frost Bay from Denmark, second in the Danish Championship. He kindly lent another competitor his spare neck brace so that that competitor could actually race. And then on the outside of row 5, rounding at the top 10, Olli Petri Munier from Finland. He's got 3 top 5 finishes in his heats this year. Viggo Hovard from Sweden has never finished lower than 12th so far this week. He starts 11th alongside Swedish champion Vilgot Edqvist in Kart 240. Luca Mars from the United States starts on the inside of row number 7. He was 23rd in the Minimax race 2 years ago. And Marcus Amand on the outside of row 7. He is the no longer reigning Minimax champion. He won the Minimax race last year. Esteban Masson from France. He was the WSK, the NSK winner in Kart 253. And then on the outside of row number 8 in 16th position, Esteban's countryman, the French Cup winner, Dylan Leisure. Finn Osborne in Kart 250. He starts ninth, in the inside of row number 9. He's finished in between 9th and 14th in every race so far this week. Maxim Turiev with the Ayrton Senna crash helmet started the outside of row number 9. He finished 20th in this event a year ago. In the inside of row number 10, Carl Marcus Sai, the 13-year-old from Tartu in Estonia. This is his third Grand Finals, and on the outside of the 10th row, the top 20 is rounded out by Great Britain's Sam Harrison. Row 11, we've got Guillaume de Oliveira and Anna Thorntangi and Achai. Row 12, Kobe Powells from Belgium and Lucas Bodanovic from Argentina. Row 13, Elia Galvanin from Italy and Tuukka Taponen from Finland. Row 14, Kai Hunter crashed out of his pre-final but still gained enough points through his heats to qualify for this event. Town is Alan, Cesar Gazal, Vincent France, Chris Hannon, Jason Leung, Akil Alibai, Marcel Surmax, Ji Kao from Taiwan, the only Taiwan-based driver to qualify for the finals, and Jan Pokos from Croatia. There's your 36 drivers. Now, Tiff Chittenden, you'll be just hoping for a clean start, first time, a nice smooth start, listening to Ramiro.
Exactly, yeah. Like I say, the front 2 guys have got a job to do until they the lights go green, and then they can concentrate on the race. So yeah, just be thinking about it. You can't accelerate until the lights go green, basically, and he just has to keep and maintain a speed until then.
Yes, and Jaden Pope, he's been here before. Last year in Portimao, he was battling for the lead, but got involved in an incident. That experience would have served him well, you would have thought, ahead of this race.
Yeah, and also a few demons as well. He wants to put right. So yeah, I know he's really determined. I've spoken to him a couple of times this weekend.
Well, what can Pope do from the outside of the front row? He doesn't want to jump the start. Robert De Haan leads them down the tram lines, and it's a false start. You can see the orange lights on the starting gantry. That was a little bit quick. So, on one hand, Robert De Haan and Jaden Pope, no, they can't go this quick, but normally what you find is that now the nerves kick in a little bit more, they'll slow